Holm, best women's boxer in MMA ever, offers the biggest challenge of Ronda's career. She crushes her. Holly looking to get it. Holly Holm is the new UFC bantamweight champion of the world. Ready to defend for the first time. It is all over. She put her to sleep.
And she is something else, and it's great to have her on SportsCenter tonight. Of course, we're talking about Holly Holm back in action Saturday night in Chicago. Before we look ahead to your fight and your opponent, we'll do that. I want you to take a look back at the ESPYs. You won the ESPY for Best Upset of the Year in your win over Ronda Rousey, which shook the UFC to its core, and the women's division certainly had some reverberating effects. When you think back to that fight now that you were right in the midst of, that the world was watching about and buzzing, what do you remember the most?
Yeah, obviously, the victory, any fight, that feeling is that high that you're chasing, you know. So, and that was definitely one of the biggest highs I ever felt after a fight. But I also am taken back to how I felt before the fight. Some of the nerves, just taking it day by day, you know, coming off of a loss now, going into this fight. Got some nerves, getting ready and getting geared up for the fight this coming weekend, and just I need to stay focused on it. You know, one more week of focus on this fight, and I just want it to be all worth it, all the hard work.
No question about it. You're taking it day by day, but that certainly will be a memorable day for a lot of people that follow this particular sport. I got to ask you, just a quick follow-up here. UFC President Dana White was pretty pointed in some of his criticism towards you and your management team for taking that fight with Miesha Tate and then not waiting for the much anticipated bout with Ronda Rousey that so many people wanted to see after you stunned her that night. Do you have any regrets about taking that Tate fight?
No, I don't have any regrets about taking that fight because I want to fight because I'm passionate about fighting. I don't want to keep, you know, I don't want to just sit aside, and I didn't want to just hold the belt and look at it. You know, I wanted to fight, and that's what I'm in this sport for. I'm passionate about this sport. I wanted to fight. I wanted to be active, and we still don't really know if Ronda's coming back and win, and she might. But I'm glad I didn't sit around and wait for it. My only regret is, you know, not making that a victory for me.
Oh, speaking of victory, you've got a chance to do that on Saturday, and all the passion you talk about can be poured into the octagon. When you take on a fighter that maybe doesn't have the household recognition that you or Miesha or Ronda does, Valentina Shevchenko, give me a scouting report on her.
She's really tough. She has a lot of experience. She has a lot of Muay Thai experience before she even got into MMA, and she still has a couple more fights than myself in MMA. She's very, very tough, and I mean, tougher than a lot of the girls in the division in a lot of ways. So I know I have my hands full. This is definitely not an easy fight.
Do you think if you win that fight Saturday, you will get a title shot as a reward?
You know, I just need to. I need to focus on this fight Saturday, and then whatever, you know, opportunity comes after is great. But I'm sure it's going to be a lot based on how I perform Saturday. So I don't want to look past that. I want to make sure I perform Saturday, and you know, that's all I'm really looking at right now.
All right, before I let you go, I want to end this on a little bit of a lighter note here. A lot of your fans may not even know this, that your father is a preacher. He raised 3 kids, including yourself. So I guess I often wonder, when you have that sort of profession and do that for a living and grow up in that sort of household, how does one of his kids turn out to be one of the biggest stars in UFC?
You know, I feel like a lot of people, you know, ask about that and ask how my dad feels about it. You know, how do you feel that you're in, you know, a violent sport? And it's like, no, this is a sport of passion. And, you know, it's not like you pick on someone off the street to fight. This is 2 people that signed a contract. This is mutual agreement here, and there's a lot of respect and a lot of passion involved in this. So I think I've always had a competitive nature about me, and my parents have always taught me to, you know, follow a passion, follow a dream, and taught me to not want to give up on something. And so, you know, whether that went into, you know, anything in my life, I don't think they were super shocked that I got into something really competitive like this, but they've always supported it from the get-go. So
I know you said in plenty of interviews that your father taught you compassion and competitiveness. We'll see both on display Saturday, some competitiveness and maybe a lack of compassion, at least in the octagon for Shevchenko on Saturday. And then we'll see, as you said, what comes next. You got to win that fight before anything else happens down the way. Best of luck Saturday night.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Comes the finish! Here comes Holly Holm! My word! He don't know what to do. 3, 4. He don't want to fight no more. 5, 6. I knocked him out the mix. 7, 8. Let me lay him flat and straight. Bust the sucker's head, that's my intent. 'Cause this the main event.
And so sweet right next to me right now. Welcome back. Joining us now, the preacher's daughter, Holly Holm. You will return to the octagon Saturday for UFC on Fox 20. Valentina Shevchenko. There was a time when we would say the next woman's name and be like, that's not a big deal. That's easy. Yeah. But things got really interesting in the women's division right now. So it's not like there are gibby fights anymore, right?
No, not at all. And actually, I feel like it's been like that for a little while. I feel like the competition has been there, and I mean, I always expect the most out of everybody I step in there with. So now there's a lot. If I had it my way, I'd still have the title, obviously.
Right. Yes.
There's a lot of curiosity now what's going to happen after this. But, you know, one fight at a time.
Now, let's go back to UFC 200. Your teammate, John Jones, caught with doping violations. What is your concern level about PEDs in MMA?
You know, for me, I'm always just more focused on me. I've never wanted to take anything simply for the fact I feel like it would affect me mentally. I don't want to feel like I would need help. I want to feel like I can do it myself and that I'm capable of myself. So, and I just don't want to worry about the drama that comes with, you know, stressing about taking it, whatever. So I've never really, you know, looked out other than what I do for me, because I'm just in charge of myself, and that's it.
Have you talked to him since everything went down, John Jones?
Yes.
And how, because here's what I wonder. There are some businesses where you don't care what the guy next to you is doing. It's sort of like this apathy. Yeah. Is that that way amongst the fighters? Or do you guys not care if somebody's doing something that they're not supposed to be? Oh,
I care about John Jones, though. He's always been so supportive, and been not just a good, you know, teammate, but a good friend. And he's one of those that's very supportive of everybody around him, you know. Other teammates have things coming up. Hey, let's watch film together. I want to watch film with you. Let's see if we can come up with something here or there, you know. I feel like he's definitely got like a kindness in his heart for a lot of things out there. He's always, you know, kind of one of those patient ones with the fans, and very personable. And but as far as that, I really haven't ever talked to them about that kind of stuff, you know. I want him to do well. I always want the best for him, and that's just kind of as far as I've really looked into it. You know, we talked very briefly on it, and we'll see what comes of it, you know.
It's got to be frustrating as his friend, because it seems like he's the guy that gets in his own way. It's not all these outside forces. And as you know, if you've watched your friend going through that time and time again, you know, what do you even say after a while?
Yeah, we definitely want the best for John, but we, you know, he's going to deal with his own thing. He's going to, you know, I'm one of those that I don't really like to look too far into something. I definitely want to, you know, I don't really like to judge people for anything. I like to let it unfold first before that ever happens, so we'll see what happens.
Now, you knocked out Ronda Rousey last November. That's a sentence that most people thought never would come to fruition. And she hasn't fought since. Now, that's a hell of a knockout. Dana White has said that Rousey will get an immediate title fight when she returns in December, January. Consider how much the title has changed hands. You okay with that?
I figure I need to...
You can say no. I'll hear you, Holly. Say it.
Honestly, you know, I want to get through this weekend, and then we'll see what happens after that. I don't ever, you know, I lost the belt. So I feel like I need to get another win under me before you know, I don't want to go out thinking that I expect things, or I feel like it always has to be earned, and that's what I want to do. I want to earn it. So this weekend I want to, you know, have a good fight, and I got to get through Valentina before anything is even promised after that. So.
Now, you did lose the belt to Miesha Tate. Dana White went on record saying he didn't want you to have that fight. We saw the results. You ever regret taking that fight?
No, I don't. I mean, I'm upset with the mistakes I made in the fight, obviously, but you know, a lot of people say that I should have waited for a rematch with Ronda, but if I would have waited, I'd still be waiting. You know, we don't know when she's coming back, so it's not like I said no to an opportunity. It's that opportunity wasn't promised. That's why I wanted to fight. You know, and I did say that I said I would wait and have the rematch with Ronda if they could at least kind of promise me it will be within...
Like a window.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there was no sure sign of that, and so, you know, I guess the biggest question with that this week that a lot of people have been asking me is, you know, do you wish you would have held onto the belt? And it's like, what, so I could put it and polish it? You know, it's like,
right.
I'm in this sport because I love to fight, and that's what I want to do. So I took the fight, and if I would have won, then nobody would be questioning it. So yes, it was what I'm mad at myself for is losing the fight. But as far as taking that other opportunity, no, I don't regret that.
Now, one of the big takeaways from that fight wasn't the loss as much as something honorable, where people were giving you tremendous amount of respect for you not tapping out. And I've been here before because I've been knocked out before, different sport. But was there a moment of clarity that you made a conscious choice before you went unconscious?
This is what I was thinking in that moment, because she had me in that same position in round 2, and I thought, I got out of it in round 2 and get out of it again. And then I was waking up.
Nothing in between, right? Fade to black.
I can get out, I can get out, I can get out. And then I woke up to the roaring of the crowd, you know, and I thought,
what happened?
And I saw the crowd, and I was like, oh.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That is. So it was all instincts, everything we visually saw was something trained or something deeper in your character. It wasn't like you were thinking through that.
No, I didn't think I'm going to go out, I'm not going to tap. It was just like, I really was thinking, you know what, I can get out of this. I did it. It was really deep. She had it really deep in round 2, and I got out, and I thought I can get out of it again. And that's the last thing I remember. I mean, it was tight, and I remember it was tight, and I thought, am I going? No, I can get out. I can get out.
And good night. I mean, it's an amazing piece of video. We won't talk about your loss anymore. We do want to share a piece of video from Bellator, as a matter of fact, because it was a devastating blow to a gentleman. Michael Page delivered a crushing knee to Cyborg Santos. Oof. Now, he celebrates with Pokemon, which I won't make fun of right now. But then we find out that Santos suffered a fractured skull. This is about to be a graphic photo. If you're a queasy human, please turn away now. Santos' ex-wife, Chris Cyborg Justino, posted the photo of his skull on Twitter. Look, this is the industry that you are in. When you see something like that, what kind of a reaction do you have?
Yeah, actually, I've never seen this view. I mean, there's been orbital fractures and orbital sockets that have been broken, and, you know, I mean, we have teammates that have metal plates, you know, in their cheeks and things like that, but when you start thinking about the skull, no, I've never seen anything like that before. And obviously we're in a sport where
yes,
it can happen, and there is a certain concern, but getting in there, if you're in this sport, you actually don't think about that. It's not like I don't, you know, if you're thinking, I don't really want to get in the face, well, you probably didn't come down this path to this career anyway. I just, gosh, something like that, I hope everything's going to be okay, because that's obviously, I know there's a lot, I'm not a doctor, but
me neither.
There's a lot of things with that, like swelling on the brain and things like that, that can be very, very scary. So hopefully everything goes all right.
I've never seen anything even close
Quickly,
to that.
what's the most devastating injury you've suffered?
I would have to say...
Sprained ankle? It sounds like you always kick butt. I kick butt.
I got a herniated disc in my neck. I think that's the biggest.
Yeah, that's not good.
I had a broken arm here from one of my fights, but I feel like a bone is a little easier healing.
Bone is nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we talking about? By the way, you're sticking around. We've got winners and losers coming up, and she will help us out with that. I like it.
This is Sports Nation. That's a good list to have. That's
Dented
not too painful.